My best friend tried to seduce my husband at a friend's party. When I confronted her, she said it was just a joke. I'm overreacting, and it didn't mean anything. Hello Reddit, I never thought I'd be the one writing a story like this. I've seen posts about betrayal, about friends who turn out to be anything but I always thought that could never happen to me. My best friend, let's call her Lisa, was like a sister to me. We had been inseparable since college, always there for each other through heartbreaks, career changes, and everything in between. I trusted her with my life. I trusted her with my husband. That was my mistake. It all started at a mutual friend's party, a casual get-together, nothing fancy, just a small group of people catching up over drinks and music. I was excited because my husband, Mark, and Lisa always got along well. We were a trio in a way, often hanging out together. Lisa had even helped me plan our wedding, standing by my side as my maid of honor. The night started off normal enough. We arrived a little late, and the house was already buzzing with laughter and conversation. Lisa greeted us with her usual energy, wrapping me in a tight hug before turning to Mark with a playful grin. Well, if it isn't my favorite husband of yours, she teased, nudging him. I laughed it off. Lisa was always flirty by nature, but it was harmless, or so I thought. As the night went on, I noticed little things. The way Lisa leaned in just a little too close when she talked to Mark. How she kept refilling his drink, even when he said he was good. The way her laughter became exaggerated when he made a joke, her hand resting on his arm for just a second too long. At first, I tried to brush it off. She's just being Lisa, I told myself. She had always been touchy-feely with everyone. But then she started making comments. You're looking good tonight, Mark, she said at one point, her eyes scanning him in a way that made my stomach tighten. He chuckled awkwardly, shooting me a look as if to say, did you hear that too? I wasn't being paranoid. I knew my best friend, and something felt off. Then, there was the dancing. Someone turned up the music and people started moving to the beat. Lisa grabbed my hand, pulling me onto the makeshift dance floor. We laughed, swaying to the music, but then she twirled away from me, straight to Mark. Come on, dance with me, she said, taking his hand. He hesitated. I don't know, don't be boring, she pouted, already pulling him in. I watched as she pressed against him, moving her hips a little too suggestively. Mark looked uncomfortable, glancing at me like he wanted an escape. My chest tightened. Was this really happening? I walked over, slipping my hand into his. Mind if I cut in? I said lightly, though my heart was pounding. Lisa flashed me a playful smile, but there was something behind it, something challenging. Oh, come on, we were just having fun, she said, letting go of him but not before trailing her fingers down his arm. My stomach twisted, but I forced myself to smile. Of course, I said, my voice even. I didn't want to make a scene. Not yet. Mark pulled me close, his grip a little tighter than usual. That was weird, right? He muttered in my ear. I nodded. More than weird. For the rest of the night, I kept my eye on Lisa. And she knew it. For the rest of the night, I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling creeping over me. Lisa wasn't just being flirty, she was testing boundaries, pushing limits right in front of me, daring me to react. And that's what terrified me the most. She knew exactly what she was doing. I tried to act normal, chatting with friends, laughing at stories, but my mind was in overdrive, dissecting every interaction. Every time I glanced over, Lisa was near Mark. Sometimes it was subtle, a light touch on his shoulder, a playful whisper in his ear, but other times it was impossible to ignore. At one point, she leaned in so close that I swore their faces almost touched. Mark pulled away slightly, laughing it off, but she just smirked. And then it happened. I had stepped away to the kitchen to grab another drink, trying to calm the anger bubbling inside me. I wasn't the kind of person to cause a scene, and I didn't want to ruin the night over something that might have been in my head. But as I walked back into the living room, scanning the crowd for Mark, my stomach dropped. Lisa and Mark were in the corner of the room, partially hidden from view. She had her hand on his chest, her fingers playing with the fabric of his shirt. Her body was angled toward him, way too close, and she was looking up at him with that same smug, knowing expression. I froze. Mark was visibly uncomfortable, his shoulders tense, his hands raised slightly, as if unsure of what to do. I saw him say something, his mouth moving quickly, but Lisa just laughed and shook her head. And then, she leaned in. Not for a kiss, but close enough. Her lips were inches from his neck, her breath hitting his skin. It was intimate. Intentional. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I didn't think. I just moved. Lisa. My voice cut through the air like a blade. She stepped back immediately, her expression shifting into something unreadable before breaking into a wide smile. Oh, hey. We were just talking about you. Mark exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck, looking relieved that I had interrupted. Yeah, Lisa was just, oh, come on, don't make it sound like anything dramatic. Lisa rolled her eyes, waving a hand dismissively. We were just joking around. I stared at her, my mind racing. She didn't even look guilty. She looked amused. Joking around? I repeated slowly, my voice eerily calm. Is that what you call throwing yourself at my husband? Lisa's smile faltered for half a second before she let out a laugh. Wow, okay, dramatic much? She crossed her arms, tilting her head. Babe, it was harmless. We were just messing around. You know how I am. I felt Mark shift beside me, unsure of whether to step in. But I didn't need him to. I know exactly how you are, I said, my jaw clenched. And I also know the difference between being playful and being inappropriate. That was inappropriate. Lisa sighed, as if I was the one making a scene. God, relax. It's not like I kissed him or anything. It was just a little fun. You're seriously overreacting. Overreacting. The word sent a fresh wave of anger through me. It was gaslighting, plain and simple. She was trying to make me feel crazy, as if I hadn't just watched her cross every boundary in real time. Mark finally spoke up. Lisa, I think you should probably stop, he said, his voice firm. That wasn't okay. Lisa scoffed, shaking her head. Oh, wow, so now you're both against me? Come on, Mark, don't act like you didn't enjoy the attention. I sucked in a sharp breath. Mark stiffened beside me, his entire posture rigid. What the hell is wrong with you? I hissed, my hands trembling. Lisa shrugged, her expression unreadable again. And then, with a smirk that made my blood boil, she said, You're seriously being so insecure right now. It didn't mean anything. In that moment, something inside me shattered. This wasn't just some misunderstanding. This wasn't just Lisa being playful. She was seeing how far she could go, how much she could get away with. And when confronted, she didn't apologize. She didn't back down. She mocked me. The worst part? Some people around us had started to notice, casting curious glances our way. I wasn't going to let her turn this into a joke at my expense. I took a deep breath, forcing my voice to stay even. Lisa, I think we're done here. She raised an eyebrow. Done with what? With this friendship. That wiped the smirk off her face. Oh, come on, she scoffed. Are you seriously ending our friendship over this? Just because I was having a little fun with Mark? You're insane. No, I said coldly. I'm just done being friends with someone who doesn't respect me. Or my marriage. Lisa opened her mouth, probably to throw out another snarky comment, but I didn't wait to hear it. I turned to Mark, grabbing his hand. Let's go. Mark didn't hesitate. He nodded, shooting Lisa one last disappointed look before walking away with me. As we stepped outside into the crisp night air, I realized I was shaking, not just from anger, but from the sheer weight of what had just happened. I had lost my best friend tonight. But had I ever really had her to begin with? I had my answer. And it wasn't pretty. But I wasn't done yet. Because Lisa might have brushed this off like it was nothing. But to me, this was everything. And I wasn't about to let it slide. The car ride home was silent. Mark kept glancing at me, his fingers gripping the steering wheel a little too tightly, but he didn't say anything. He knew better than to tell me to calm down. I wasn't calm. I was humiliated, furious, heartbroken. I had just walked away from my so-called best friend, someone I had trusted for years, someone who had stood next to me on my wedding day and then had the audacity to make a move on my husband like it was some kind of joke. And when I confronted her, she laughed. She made me feel like the crazy one. Mark finally broke the silence as we pulled into our driveway. "Are you okay?" I let out a bitter laugh, unbuckling my seatbelt. "No, Mark. I'm not okay," he sighed, rubbing his face. "Look, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to make a scene, but I also didn't want to play along with whatever game Lisa was trying to pull." I swear I wasn't encouraging her. I turned to face him. "I know you weren't." And I did. Mark had looked just as uncomfortable as I had. But that didn't erase the fact that Lisa had crossed a line. And the worst part? She didn't even care. I wasn't done with her yet. The next morning, I woke up with my decision already made. Lisa needed to hear me one last time, without the party, without the crowd, without her smug little act. I wanted to see if there was even a sliver of remorse buried beneath her arrogance. I called her. She answered on the third ring, her tone light, almost amused. Well, didn't think I'd be hearing from you so soon." I clenched my jaw. "I need to talk to you. And I need you to be honest with me for once." She sighed. "Oh my God, are we really still doing this?" "Yes," I snapped. "We are. Because what you did last night was disgusting. You disrespected me. You disrespected my marriage. And then you tried to gaslight me into thinking it was nothing. So, tell me, Lisa, what was your plan? Were you trying to see how far you could push things? Were you trying to see if Mark would give in?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she let out a slow, exasperated sigh. "You really don't get it, do you?" I stiffened. "Get what?" "I was doing you a favor." A cold chill ran down my spine. "A favor?" Lisa scoffed. "You've always been so sure of Mark, so confident in your little perfect marriage. I just wanted to see if he was as faithful as you thought. And guess what? He passed the test. You should be thanking me." I could barely breathe. "You tested my husband?" She laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, come on. If he had flirted back, wouldn't you have wanted to know? Wouldn't that have saved you from wasting years on someone who wasn't loyal?" I felt sick. My stomach twisted, my hands shaking with rage. That's the most pathetic excuse I've ever heard. You weren't testing Mark. You were trying to prove something to yourself. And when he didn't take the bait, you tried to turn it on me, make me feel crazy. That's not the behavior of a friend, Lisa. That's the behavior of a jealous, manipulative person who can't stand to see someone else happy. Her voice lost its playfulness. "I'm not jealous of you." "Yes, you are," I said coldly. "And that's the saddest part. You had every chance to be a part of my life, to be someone I trusted. But instead, you threw it all away just to see if you could break something I love. And you failed." Silence. For the first time, Lisa had nothing to say. I exhaled, steadying myself. "I'm done with you. I don't want to hear from you again. Don't text me, don't call me. Whatever friendship we had, it's over." She still didn't say anything. I didn't give her the chance. I hung up. And just like that, Lisa was gone from my life. I won't lie, cutting her off hurt. For years, she had been my person, my sister in everything but blood. I had shared my deepest secrets with her, trusted her in ways I hadn't trusted anyone else. But now, looking back, I started to see all the little moments I had ignored, the times she had subtly undermined me, the backhanded compliments, the way she always needed to be the center of attention. I had been blind. But not anymore. Mark wrapped his arms around me that evening, pressing a kiss to my forehead. "I'm sorry," he murmured. "I hate that she did this to you." I leaned into him, closing my eyes. "I hate that she did this too. But I think she was always this person. I just didn't want to see it." Lisa had shown me who she really was. And as much as it hurt, I believed her. Some friendships aren't meant to last forever. Some people don't deserve a second chance. And when someone shows you their true colors, believe them.